Dennis Snappy the second here, and this is my data review for the Philip experiment. I completed 3 sessions on this target and actually feel really good about my data on this one. Very insightful, very cool tasking. Ultimately, I think it looks like they pulled it off. They were telling the truth, and they created some kind of paranormal experience. Let me share the data that I had here. Let's see. So 3 sessions. We'll start with my first session here. So right at the beginning here, I just got a charged soft vibration with a consistent hum or feeling of it. There were energy waves expanding, and I sensed a life inside of a bubble. I saw the life hunched over, yet there was energy moving overhead. And right away, I got this feel of like a fake neighborhood. And it reminded me of the old neighborhoods you see from like the nuclear bomb testing. There's just idea that there was something fictional or fake about this. There was something overhead. It was unseen, but it was felt like a feeling of pressure on the body, a tingling or a spidey sense. But it was still, there was a removal of energy in a void. Yet I had this energetics at a location surrounding a life. There was an energetic arc or bubble around the life, but something was different inside. It had a different feel to it. It was slower. There was a change in the movement of time. I wanted to know, is this by perception or actual? Life was the receiver of the energy. There was energy flowing into the life. You can see my rudimentary sketch here. I had this perception of energy flowing in through the crown and out through the eyes and hands, but also an absorption of the energy at the same points. Life was moving. The bubble traveled with the life. It was male, esoteric, knowledgeable, and calm. There was a trance state and some deep breathing, and I had an AOL of something shamanic. There was something multi-dimensional about this, something about two worlds here as I was exploring further. A sense of not here to communicate, only communicating with self or with your own mind. Move forward. This was like a ripple in time, describing the bubble here. The bubble was a ripple in time. There is an energetic coat of awareness, and that's a quote from Carlos Castaneda's book, The Active Side of Infinity, talking about the energy field that surrounds a human body. Locus of control of the mind, mind-centered, mind-altering, or an altered mind. Something was observed, captured, and witnessed. It was exciting. A witness intentionally captured something as evidence. This was sought after, and there's a feeling of success and celebration. It felt really good, an accomplishment. Describing the witness a little bit more, felt like they were part of a team or an organization. They set a trap, hatched a plan, created the conditions necessary for this to happen. It was an act of wonder, and it was marvelous, a sense of we did it. Describe the actual data, the elements, the evidence of an event. Did it happen? Yes. Did it happen as reported? I asked myself. Maybe, mostly yes. There was no cover-up, no secrets, something about danger or dangerous. The capabilities of a life form. It was a study. But it felt still like a movie set. And action, I heard. Go, movement or movement forward. It was a staged event, expected. It was purposeful, intentional, done with intent and focus, a locus of control of the mind. And there was evidence of what? They exist. A stimulus which elicits a response, activities, movement. And then I had this sense of a zombie or a drone, and maybe that was the fictional character Philip. They're unaware of observation and of the control and manipulation, which is a scary concept I'd love to explore in a deeper discussion. There's an innocence with one of the affected lives. This brings me sadness. They're unaware, and I feel sad for them. And it was as if I now interpreting it, maybe this is Philip, and really just understanding from my vantage as a viewer now that this life was totally fabricated and totally controlled by the imagination of the experimenters. And looking again at what was staged, it was impacted, important, regulated, guided, planned, observed, ready, prepared. Preparation is an act of kindness, a discovery of the way forward. Here we are, observers. There was no awareness of being observed. There was this bubble that gave them a glimpse. And there was a smart scientist, a lead, who had the idea This may be important to explore later. Looking at the locus of control, cranial, judgment, movement center, manipulation of time and space, focused, clinical, controlled viewer perception, controlling where one looks to manipulate and influence what one sees or does not see. This is how they remain hidden. It's the bubble that keeps their secret state of psychosis. There was a mad scientist, but I wrote, that's my opinion and not a truth. Anything else? Lightning, a source of inspiration in the minds of another. I can do this. We can make it happen with planning and preparation. It's the idea that brings this value. Okay, my second session here. Something that was omnipresent. There was bursts of energy. And for this session, forgive me, I was tasked to move to my data and describe the life in the bubble. Male, esoteric, knowledgeable, and calm. Okay, so who was the life in the bubble? Again, omnipresent, a burst of energy all around him. It was I had an AI. It was fantastic as a scientific statement, almost speechless. This is fantastic. It exceeded expectations. There was excitement and wonder. It was an achievement related to the life or as it relates to the life, and it felt really good. As it relates to life, the man behind the curtain, he is pulling the strings. He is the one we really want to know about. I want to say clandestine, but he's hiding in plain sight, but he holds a secret life. Well-disciplined, structured, possibly autistic because of his lack of connections to social relationships. But he knows how to fake it, to blend in. However, inside, he is cold, emotionless. Lacks empathy, not in a bad way, just very mission-focused and very driven. I had him here in his 40s. He reminded me of Michael Douglas in the movie Falling Down. I said he also reminded me of Bob Lazar. Esoteric, but an understanding from a factual, knowledgeable standpoint. He was very scientific, and this information was helpful to the cause. And I had a sense here of an experiment. Okay, harmonization of frequencies, a connection to the heart. An opening or portal is opened in or through or from the heart, creating a window or glimpse into another world. I asked, is this an avatar, a sense of external control or manipulation, an external sensory and extrasensory perception, perceptive and receptive force? And that would make sense. These people are controlling the entire existence of Philip. They're controlling him like an avatar. Okay. I was getting mixed signals here, like a double life. The man laughing at the cocktail party is not who he is or he wants to be. He himself is quite the specimen. Someday they may want to study him. I think this is one of the experimenters. He has a central role, a character. Transformation. Started as a simple mind. Again, I looked at omnipresent, ideas everywhere, a thought form. Function of time in a particular designated place, controlling the events, controlling what happens, but asking about the outcome. It worked. Okay, and again, you create a fictional character, you're creating all the events and all of what happened. Looking at it dealt with consciousness, a subtle awareness, but magnified. Freedom to do what you want and operate within a system, but yet not bound by any limitations. You can see it, and you can see it from space if you know what to look for. Okay. My summary here, it was a life that seemed very intelligent and working on a secret project. He's very disciplined in his work and driven for it. He's leading a double life, hidden from those that know him, live near him, and or work with him. The work involves energetics or energy and may impact another or other lives. At times, this feels like there is a movie set or simulation or a glimpse into another dimension, a sense of control or secrecy peering into this other world. So I'm wondering if the double life is the fictional character that was created here. Okay, I'll come back to that. All right, this time I was tasked to move to my sketches and perceptions from my first session and describe the observers here. Who are the observers? And again, I had this life around in a bubble with energy radiating outwards. Okay, there were energy waves coming towards the life, creating an opening around him. He was lonely, but he was observed and watched. Okay, so from behind the looking glass we go. Cat's joining me here. There was a container, it was contained or a container, looking at a specimen or an experiment with a scientist. Scientist was looking within, had dimensional or multidimensional. The observer has a bird's eye view over a multidimensional reality. He can spin the cube, in quotation, to get a different vantage or perspective, moving forward or backward in time to replay the same scene. Looking at the colleagues here, many people in the background watching him silently. Is that the colleagues watching Philip? I had a 1950s feel with men smoking. I was just a decade or two off, but still that older feel, 70s. Now that I look at it, 70s fits that as well. Angelic, etheric, psychic, and intuition. I liked this. It was unexpected. Looking at the observers, it was a collective. They were intelligent. But who's watching the watchers? Something was cloaked in secrecy. I had something from the heart that was heart-centered. There was a guardian or steward or caretaker. There was these watchers, or I'm sorry, the observers was of a similar mindset. They communicate with each other, almost like a collective society. Okay. The observer's function and purpose: to monitor, observe and report, collect data, reciprocal, and to reciprocate. Can we repeat this? Can we do this? They asked. Respond and correspond. Okay. Describing their appearance: smoky, misty, phantasm. Dark and in the shadows like a figment of imagination. And then I had this like etheric being. It was dynamic and intelligent, connected to a higher order or a source connection. Something was blocked and limited. This is its, of the third eye standpoint in terms of self-awareness. Constrictive viewpoint: is there a block or is that what I'm being shown? I heard this singing, high-pitched, beautiful, angelic communication. It stimulates an opening from the crown chakra. The heart was closed in an aura, generating a protective shielding that was loving. The solar plexus moved outwards to the crown, a reflective wave, psychic, intuitive, translucent, and transparent. Energy radiates off of this being. It was very energetic, creating the equivalent of a ship's wake as it moves. And then impacts the other lives. So the central life was impacting the other lives. I wasn't sure how to feel about the data. It felt like I had trouble connecting to the signal. I was also experimenting with brown noise, as a note here, for the first time I tried this session. I did fall asleep at one point. But I saw life in an energy field. I got the sense that this field was being observed as if it's another dimension or reality. There is someone watching who has a more active role in observing and creating this field and the lives in it. There are life forms behind that life as well. It was as if they were observing him and his work. There were a few impressions I had. Some of the life forms felt like they communicated with each other, possibly telepathically. There's another cast that I explored that felt more etheric or angelic, which is where I'm not sure if I went off into my imagination or not. So I'm not sure if I was looking at, from Philip's perspective, and the angelic beings were the experimenters, or if I was looking at the observers and the experimenters, and there was angelic beings behind them with this experiment. I could interpret that either way. I want to point something out here in looking at one of the main characters here. I drew this sketch of a man here as one of the observers, and then I had I'll call him my Michael Douglas character, and I referenced the movie Falling Down. Let me see if I find that sketch here. I don't think it's on this one. Somewhere I named it Michael Douglas from the movie Falling Down. Here he is. Okay. Or like a Bob Lazar lookalike here. So I want to share something that I found. Okay. Looking at, first of all, here's Michael Douglas in Falling Down, that box haircut and the glasses. And now it's tough here. This guy's labeled as Dr. Joel Witten, who's one of the members of the experiment. However, now my screen's not going to let me move. I All right, sorry, I was having an issue with my screen share here. So looking at my Michael Douglas character, I believe, again, here he's labeled as Dr. Alan Robert George Owen. Okay, I think this is the guy. He's affiliated with the experiment as well. Joel Whitten and George Owen. And here's a better screenshot. George Owen, or Dr. A.R.G. Owen. Okay, that's another picture of this guy. So I think this is the guy who's behind the scenes, the guy that was almost living that double life, where the autistic mind focused on this experiment, because he's one of the founders of the experiment. So I think that's who I was picking up on that, looking at that sketch, which I'm excited about, because I'm usually not too good at getting those kinds of visuals on sketches. So I guess it's a new achievement for me. So anyway, that's my data. Fascinating target. I really felt that I connected to this in capturing that second reality and the life form. So I do think whatever they tried, I think it was a success, and they created something, and that sparks so many questions that I have, and so many ideas about the nature of reality and the creation of consciousness and life. So more to come on that, I guess. Thanks so much.